Good morning. Happy Wednesday. It's the 17th of October. We're edging quickly towards Halloween, that glorious day of the year where the sex offenders look forward to children coming and knocking on their door asking for candy. I can understand why parents would be they have a little fear and trepidation about having their kids going out and trick-or-treating. Speaking of situations like that, Beware Mouse thinks that I'm a genius. That's cool. I still think Beware Mouse is a liar and a retard. But speaking of sex offenders, other different sex offenders, Earl, I made a statement that Earl was required to show ID. Now, there is a story about Earl and Philip Turner in Police News, something like that. In the article, I'll link it below if I remember. I'll try to link it below if I remember. If I don't remember, someone nudge me and tell me to link it. But it says that he's required to have his sex offender registration on him at all times and to present it to the police. And Earl actually wrote a response to this, and it is published in the same source, that said that he totally would have done that, but he wasn't registered as a sex offender at that time. And his ID was totally in his car, and he's a very honest person. And nothing that he says is a lie. So, you know, if you say you're an honest person, then it must be true. So that's news. Speaking of Turner v. Driver is the case that this community likes to brag on so much. And Poetic has recently taken to making videos calling out auditors for their money-hungry, money-grubbing ways. How if you pooled all the money all these auditors together have received, no auditor would ever have any issue paying bond or bail or what have you. It could be all well afforded and well taken care of. And he's probably not wrong. I don't watch live streams, but someone took a picture of a person giving $20, that's US dollars. At least I assume it was US dollars. It just said 20.00 at the top, if I remember correctly. On Patrick's e-begging stream, little News Now Bobby Hill, he did an e-begging stream last night. He's been doing e-begging streams quite a bit lately, but maybe he always has, and I just wasn't aware of him because people weren't telling me about him. But he's relatively unliked and unwatched in the community. And some of these guys, like I've seen Freeman get a couple $100 on a 10-15 minute live stream. Now he's gonna cry that YouTube takes something like a third of it. Still, that's money that all he had to do was look into a camera and wiggle his cult leader eyes, and people just threw money at him like he was on stage and people were throwing panties at him. Anyway, where is I going with all this? I don't even know. Turner v. Driver, that's right. So speaking of Turner v. Driver, that is the success that the community is pointing to. It's the success that came after the First Circuit, the Seventh Circuit, the Ninth Circuit, and the 11th Circuit had all come to independently without anybody having any money thrown at them and without having to deal with auditors. Now, Turner won, and he did it at the time. I don't think he was. I've never seen him e-beg. I don't know exactly what his bat chat is supposed to be all about. I think he's trying to position himself as a knowledge guru, as the replacement for Felipe. Considering his lack of understanding of his own case, I wouldn't guess it's going to go too well. Now, I have nothing against Philip Turner, and unlike Philip Turner, I would go to dinner with him. I'd even buy the man a beer. I don't know if he drinks. Buy him a soda if he didn't. That's fine. And nothing against him. But he doesn't understand his own case, and that makes me think that maybe he shouldn't be giving legal advice. Maybe he shouldn't be trying to place himself in that position where he's giving advice and telling people that Turner v. Driver would apply in situations where it doesn't. Just my thought. There were already, four districts, four circuits that had already ruled on that particular issue. And then you get Turner v. Driver. And then the Third Circuit follows suit. What was that? Garachi and Fields versus... Oh, I can't remember the name. It's like the city of Philadelphia or something like that. Anyway, and they did it. I think she was a legal observer. She was filming a protest, an anti-fracking protest, I believe. And he was a college student. Anyway, they did it without any funds, without any money from the auditing community. And if 4 out of 5 of the district courts that have ruled on it have done so without an auditor, without throwing money at auditors, it just makes me believe, it just leads me to believe that people throwing money at it aren't going to change anything, and that the auditing community, despite its protestations, hasn't changed anything. This auditing movement has been going on for at least 5 years, probably at least. I don't know. I've seen old videos back in like 2009, but maybe before. Of course, the community wants to claim people who just happen to be at the right time and right place filming. Oh, they're part of this community. Oh, really? Okay. Speaking of famous people, Right to Record is now reliably trolling in my comments. I'm so glad about that. I missed that feller. He was like the bobblehead that I didn't have in my collection and I really wanted. God, that guy's great. Dumb as a box of rocks. Claims to have done all this cool stuff. Claims to be a genius. Dumb as a box of rocks. If you ever go through the comments, you'll find him doxing me, or he thinks he's doxing me, not realizing that everybody knows who I am. He's fucking retarded. But what's interesting, for those of you who believe that the fat parasite can do no wrong and not lie, what's interesting is that one thing that Right to Record likes to say over and over again is that I don't have a job because the state bar, the California State Bar, doesn't show me having a job with anybody. That highlights two things. Number one, it highlights the statement that Fat Parasite made that he got my employment. He got where I worked at from the California State Bar. He didn't. And Right to Record's comments bring that into light. The California State Bar doesn't get my employment information. The only way it would know, so all the information that's on that screen on my bar page, except for like the stuff that they verify, like what school I graduated in, what disciplinary action I have had, any specialty licenses or things like that. Oh, you found some crunchy to eat. Awesome. All that stuff on there, the address, telephone number, email, all that fun stuff. I put that up there. I can change it. I could put my employer's information up there, but I don't have to, and I don't care to. So there you go. So Right to Record hasn't figured out yet where I work, and nobody tell him, please, because it's always fun to keep an idiot in suspense. I'll tell you a joke about how to keep idiots in suspense at the end of this video. But Right to Record is enjoying himself, thinking that he's going to dox me. He thinks he knows where I live. He thinks all these things, but he's really stupid. The fun thing is that he hasn't ever yet been able to provide anything besides his word that he knows what he's talking about to back any of his decisions. And he thought he was going to get me because he said that he would tell me his bar number if I told him mine. Since I have already doxed myself multiple times, I gave him my bar number. And then crickets. He looked me up on the California State Bar website, not being smart enough or resourceful enough to figure out all the other times that I've doxed myself. And he thinks he came up with something new and exciting. Oh, it's beautiful. I don't know, maybe you guys can't really understand how much I enjoy and treasure a good retard in my comments. I mean, I lost Morris. That made me sad. I lost Nigel. That made me sad. I seem to lose all my trolls or convert them. One of the two. That makes me sad. The next bobblehead I want for my collection is Jerry Bushman. That guy right there. Whew. He says some smart stuff. He's the genius who doesn't think that a sign is real if it is a photocopy. You can't just put up a piece of paper. It has to be purple crayon or something like that. If you guys can get me that bobblehead, I would really appreciate it. Oh, got to catch them all. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.